And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second broadcast of the night. Welcome to the ESL Masters Winter 2023 Europe Open Qualifier number 1. I'm of course your host ZvP, and with me I'm joined by my lovely plushies and the lovely people in the chat and all of these amazing players! !B in the chat. If you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves, the bracket is live and we have our first matchup ready for us. We are diving into we are diving into a ZvP here between our Zerg and our Protoss. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Hecate, we have the Polish Zerg player representing CSO Esports. It is Trifax. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the German Protoss representing Team Pink. It is HolyHit. Oh my god, the bracket it's big, it's massive, it's insane, and there are that many more spots available. So unlike the other regions, or unlike the Asia region, which we did just cover, this region is a little bit more lenient. There are many more slots available. In the Asia region, there were only 4. Top 4 made it out of that bracket. Here in the European region, it is top 8 instead. Double the spots, double the amount of shots. And it does mean that the qualifying matches are in the round of 16, not in the round of 8. So the round of 16 is when the best of 5s do occur. Up until the round of 16, all best of 3s until that eventual best of 5 qualifying match. And I am ready for it. And we were spoiled for choice. There were so many good matches to dive on. I had a hard time picking between them. A couple caught my eye. I think the biggest one is Dimaga versus Euthermal. I do think, though, that Roddy will probably dive on that. Again, Dimaga versus Euthermal is a pretty big one, and I imagine whether it's Roddy or Wardy or one of the other community casters, it will be covered. But this is another that caught my eye just because of not just the starting players, but what it leads into as well. We have been casting a lot of the Polish players on our channel, just because, again, we have closer ties to the Polish community. Dzień dobry to the people out there, and I'm excited to follow Trifax. Likewise, HolyHit is another player that we do support quite a lot. We do raid them whenever we can, as HolyHit is, of course, does stream quite often. Part of me wants to say they're more of a streamer than a player, but they do compete quite a lot as well, and they have been looking to improve over time, have been putting in a lot of hours, a lot of training, a lot of practice, a lot of games on the ladder, and we'll see how this all comes together. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since we've casted HolyHit. It's been a couple of months, if not years. So I'm ready to once again be reintroduced to HolyHit. I'm excited to see where this series does take us, as for the time being, it's going to be a standard opener from our Protoss into a Stargate. That is our tech of choice. Back at home, Trifax was forced to take the unnatural natural. We do see a bit of a delay here at the natural base of Trifax. The Adept is making its way across map. The goal here for the Adept to make it just in time. It looks like it will. And doesn't quite get a kill on the drone. The drone barely does escape, but the Adept does delay the third base by quite a lot. That was the goal here for this pylon, to buy time for the Adept to delay that third, and that drone desperately wants to become a hatchery, wants to become a base. Finally it will. Finally the Adept gets away. The Adept allows the base to get up and running here, and it was a nice delay. You know, HolyHit didn't lose any damage, or no hull damage whatsoever, just shield damage here to these Adepts, and was able to disrupt the economy here of Trifax for at least a moment. Behind this, of course, we are just droning on up, getting our queens in position. Oh, the Overlord is caught out, unfortunately. Quite far away here from this pillar, so it looks like it barely will make it. Oh, barely will survive. Up, one more. Oh no, but the Oracle arrives anyway, and the Overlord will fall. At least the Overlord did confirm the Stargate, did confirm the Oracle coming out, and now the Queen should be getting in position. Spores are on the way. 2 Queens here in the main, 2 Queens at the third base. The Natural's a little bit more exposed, but there's nothing to protect, so it's all good. And HolyHit's going to be going for a safer approach. He keeps the first Oracle back at home. He's waiting, biding his time for the second Oracle to come out. So Again, a little bit more defensive early on. He just wants to make sure his third base is safe and secure. And now he can move out with his oracles. Now he has that one-shot potential. Again, 2 oracles do one-shot workers with their powers combined, as long as we can target fire correctly. And we have plenty of SimCity and Adepts back at home to protect that third base. Should be safe and sound. Oracles, they dip on in, but the Queens are in position. Trifax does not lose anything so far. Really good positioning, really good movement out of the Queens. The oracles do nothing, but they're still alive, and they haven't sustained any real lasting damage. They can rotate around, and they can get damage at a later time, at a later date. Meanwhile, Trifax is going to be going for a bit of a counterattack here, trying to get a read on things. He's got in control, you love to hear it. As the Lings do confirm the third base, they're going to be able to at least take down this pylon, even drag these Adepts a bit out of position. If they do get out of range of that shield battery, they can dive on it. Meanwhile, the Oracles across the map with 3 Oracles, they do take down 3 drones. They take a bit of hull damage here, but they rotate around. They're looking for even more work because they go for the Queen. 3 Oracles, they can focus down the Queen, but alas, the Queen escapes. Ooh, and the Oracles, they all take a lot of hits. At least the Oracles survive. Initially, 3 drones was good, but they got a little bit greedy. They did overextend, and that is quite a lot of hull damage already. It's going to be difficult to get even more damage moving on from here just because of how low they are. Oh, they even have a Queen looking to chase them down. Behind this, we have our transition from a Stargate Oracle opener. It's going to be Blink and +1, so very standard play here out of HolyHit. Nothing too out of the norm. No Blink, Oracle into third base, into +1 Blink is as standard can be. Lings are just trying to poke and prod, and they're being a little bit annoying, just really getting confirmation of the follow-up, making sure that we have saturation at the third, while Trifax double expands. His 4th finishes up, and we have a 5th on the way. When it comes to tech, Trifax is going to be working towards roaches. We have our lair being taken, +1 range, Bailey Nest, Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager seems to be the composition of choice here, and yeah, things are looking as they should. As the Oracles, they get a Queen, they're going to get a 2nd Queen as well. Good pickups here from HolyHit. Even one of those morphing in Roaches. Trifax has droned up to 73, a solid worker count. The upgrades are still on the way. Another Queen goes down, up, but an overextension. 1 Oracle will fall as well. Regardless, 1 Oracle for all this damage. Look at the units lost tab here. 3 Queens, 3 drones, 9 Lings. For 1 Oracle, this is not bad. Not bad here for HolyHit. Behind this, he's teching up as well. So our Protoss player, he's going for a very tech-heavy style. The gateways have been delayed in favor of a 2nd Robo and Colossus. Double Colossus production here for our Protoss. He is slowly going to be building up his Colossus count. He's going to be staying at home. HolyHit will be the defender. He is harassing here with his Oracles and with his Warp Prism, yes, but he's not focusing on any kind of major push or any kind of major timing. Trifax, on the other hand, though, is looking to try and punish him, and he does catch the sentries. Ooh, 2 sentries go down. The 4th base is under threat. At the same time, Adepts do make it into the main. So far, decent target firing. 3 drones go down. We commit to the shade, but Roaches are waiting for the Adepts. The Adepts will get cleaned up. At the same time, the Lings across the map also get cleaned up. Good trades here. At least Trifax caught the sentries, but he will not deny the 4th. Meanwhile, Trifax is droning up. He's getting up to 80 workers. 4 base saturation, takes advantage of this half gold base as well. And now Trifax can focus on his army. Again, Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. Bailing speed's about to finish up. +1 melee's on the way. Infestation BT here for Hive Tech. Trifax is looking to max, and HolyHit is looking to defend against this army. We'll see if he can. I mean, he's already on. He should have 4 Colossus. He has 3 Colossus. He's going into a Disruptor, so he's, a little bit odd. We usually go up to 4 Colossi before we go up towards Disruptors. Instead, we're going to be cutting it early on here at 3. Disruptors have a lot of potential, but everything has potential, you know? Like, it comes down to the execution. It comes down to whether or not he can pull off those insane Purification Novas that he's going to need to survive. Trifax is maxed. He is up 70 supply at this point. First Nova goes off, shaves off some Lings. More Lings go down to the Colossi. Decent start here for HolyHit. He does spot the army, does have the Revelation. But can he keep up? Because that's a lot of Ling Bane, and that's a lot of Roach Ravager. And here we go. We collapse on the army. We go for a surround. Nova, I don't think it's going to be able to go off. The Colossus do pull back. The Baileys take it into the mineral line. And 9 workers go down. The Colossi are losing their buffer. They are standing strong. They are standing tall. But can they survive long enough? Can they hold on? It looks like they can. But not before 14 probes go down. But this is a hold. Oh my god. Never goes off, taking down some of those Ravagers. HolyHit down to 56 workers, and oh god, we had a bit of a lag spike there. Hopefully everything is okay. From our side, everything is looking good. But HolyHit will be able to defend, does preserve his high-tech units. Looking at the units lost tab, he did lose a couple of disruptors. That's the downside. His disruptor count was reset, but he does hold on to most of his economy. Meanwhile, Trifax is remaxing. Trifax, he already had 80 workers. He's making 7 more drones. You know, a little bit unnecessary, but regardless, he is remaxing, looking for a second push. We have Road Ravager on the right-hand side. We have Lings here on the left. The Road Trav taking down the disruptor. HolyHit is being pulled apart. First disruptor went down, second one survives, does push away the Roach Ravager, buying some time for the rest of the reinforcements to rotate on over. HolyHit, again, he is holding, but some expensive losses as the Lings do get into the mineral line, and a lot of probes are going down. 3 workers. Nice juggling here. The Prism comes in, does ferry some of those workers to safety. Again, HolyHit, he's living. He's barely holding on. I worry just because, again, he's losing disruptors quite consistently. The disruptor count is, you know, being whittled away and it's being kept in check. Trifax remaxing once again, this time with a hive with Vipers. But the Vipers need time. The Vipers, they need time to gather up their energy. So HolyHit, he has a window here where he can push in. He's pushing into a Lair Tech army with 3 Colossi. First Nova doesn't quite connect where it does zone a Trifax away, and HolyHit is going to rotate around. He's not quite liking this angle of attack. Doesn't want to get surrounded. Instead, he's going to rotate over, deny a base if he spots one. He has not seen the base on the right-hand side. Oh, he's not aware of how behind or how ahead Trifax is when it comes to the economy. Again, that gold base or the half gold base putting in a lot of work. Meanwhile, as HolyHit pushes in, we do have Trifax going for another big counterattack. The Lings, they get a surround on the cannon, but there are Zealots back at home to defend. Up! Oh no! Ooh, Trifax, he wasn't looking. And HolyHit catches him with a solid Nova. And HolyHit, he is closing the gap. Remember when Trifax was max and up 70 supply? Well, now he's max and up 30 supply. Slowly over time, HolyHit, he's closing the gap. He's building up his forces. He's maxing out with a superior army. Now, enough time has passed. Vipers have hit the field. And here we go. We have 2 yoinks. No! 1 Viper goes down. Oh, we have 1 Viper left and we can't lose it. We need it. It's the lifeblood here. It's what's keeping Trifax in this game when it comes to how we can engage. Abductions, blinding clouds, pick your poison. They can both work. Stasis trap does go off. Trifax trying to push on forward here. Can he catch some of these disruptors or even the Colossus? Up once again. Viper goes down. He does manage to get 1 Colossi. But the Novas, oh, they're so good. The Novas are too juicy, Papi. A little bit too juicy. Another Nova's going to be going off as well, and it will connect with the Ravagers, with the Roaches. But they take down another Colossus. We're down to 1 Colossi remaining here for HolyHit. But Trifax may be bleeding out too much. Oh, God. Once again, big connections, but a bit of a misrally. These 2 disruptors. No, why are we here? The disruptors, they will go down at the same time. A big Zealot run by does not punish this half gold base, but it will take down the base on the right hand side, or at least it'll get close. Barely does get the hatchery. At the same time, HolyHit's pushing in. Now, when it comes to the main engagements, HolyHit, he's been doing well. Like, he's been sniping Vipers, he's been connecting with his Novas, but as you've seen, things have been getting really chaotic, and he's been bleeding out a little bit too much. Like this misrally here, these disruptors are so exposed. We need to go home. We can't just throw them away like this, and another disruptor is going to go down. This is the 3rd one. Nova does not connect, and Trifax, he wants a 4th free disruptor, and he will get it. Again, this misrally, it's killing HolyHits. Like, imagine this army with 4 more disruptors. Like, damn. He could keep pushing. He could win this game here and now with this army, but alas, he's been bleeding out a little bit too much. He may still have too much regardless. He may have enough to keep on going. More Colossi are coming out. Speaking of, do we have any additional Vipers? We do. Looks like we have built 2 more Vipers. No! We had them. Both Vipers get sniped. The Stalkers are quite exposed though. Alas, they will escape. They do barely make it out. At the same time, another base does get denied. HolyHit trying to take one of Trifax's bases. Speaking of Trifax, did lose a lot of workers earlier, and his economy is not looking ideal. Up. Nova's going to be going off. Does connect, takes down a Colossus. But a good connection on the Banelings. And again, Trifax, he is down to 60 workers. He has not been rebuilding his drones, but he catches the Colossus. One Colossus barely does go down. Banelings, they roll in. They get into the middle line. And they take down 12 plus workers. Trifax pulling back. Can he get another Colossus? Barely. He will not. Stalker's coming to reinforce. Again, this is getting very close, very scrappy between these two players. How many high-tech units do we have left? We got a lot of Colossus on the way, a lot of disruptors. Trifax gonna try to engage here, but it looks like there's just an overwhelming army. The Vipers come forward, they yoink another Colossus, but do we have enough? Is there enough Zerg? The Blinks are looking good. The disruptors once again exposed, but we are running out of steam, we're running out of roaches. Trifax again, his economy in shambles. Down to 47 workers, and this hatchery will fall. Again, this game has been pretty back and forth. It's been very close for both players, but the key thing here is that, again, as Trifax has been losing drones, he hasn't been replacing them. He hasn't been droning this entire time. Despite being up to 87 workers earlier, we're down to 47, and he's all in. At this point, he is 100% all in. The economy isn't there anymore. And HolyHit, even on a 4-base economy, even with some, you know, undersaturated and oversaturated bases, he is still looking strong. We could do with transferring some workers over at Pappy. So we go, Nova goes off. Ooh, once again connects. A good collapse there on those disruptors though. 2 of them did go down. Trifax fighting back, but he's losing his last mining base. Hatchery does go down. Trifax going to try to punish this, but GG is going to get called, and HolyHit takes game number 1. GG. That was only game 1. That was intense. GG. Well played. HolyHit will take a lead in this series, but that was very back and forth, and I would say that the early to mid game of Trifax was superior. He was able to take 5 bases, drone up to 87 quite well without being too hindered, without sustaining too many losses. He was able to max out, but with that max out army, he wasn't quite able to break the bases of HolyHit. He was trading well, and every now and then he would get into a mineral line, get into the economy, but it just barely was not enough. And the reality is that the army of Trifax is a mid-game army. Ling Bane Roach Ravager, it doesn't scale too well, especially when the Robo army gets too high, it gets too large. Oh, okay, thank God, I almost got left behind. But his army doesn't scale too well as we get more disruptors and more Colossus. That's where Vipers come into play, but the reality is the Vipers, they were lackluster. Unfortunately, they were lacking a little bit. And on top of that, we weren't taking up into either Broodlords or Ultras or Lurkers. Lurkers are the more kind of natural transition that we can go for, like Hydra, Lurker, Viper. But there was no transition. We were sticking with Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Vipers, of course, to support, but there was a lot of pressure on those Vipers to kind of even things up, and it just was not there. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have the Polish Zerg player representing CSO Esports down in the series, but not out. It is Trifax. And spawning in the oh god. Okay, we're good. I saw 2 probes move out and I got scared. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the pink Protoss player, the German Protoss, representing Clan Pink. It is HolyHit. Let us go. I also want to quickly double check something as well. Just to make sure everything is okay. Okay, we're good to go. For the next series, we will set up some predictions. We'll get some predictions going as the qualifier progresses. Again, we were just very quickly getting into the first series, but we'll get some predictions later on down the line. For now, we do see some pretty standard openers. And again, there wasn't anything too crazy when it came to the start of Game 1. Game 1 was pretty standard from both players. You know, Trifax, he was just getting up to 3 bases, droning up, going into roaches, going into banelings, getting a 4th. Likewise, HolyHit, we had a Stargate opener into a 3rd, into +1 Blink Stalkers, into double Robo Colossus production. Very safe, a very standard play here from HolyHit. Why I bring this up is now we keep our eye out to see if we see any kind of big divergence between Trifax and HolyHit. Do we take up in a different direction? Do we take faster gases? Do we rush into faster tech like a lair or not like a lair? We'll keep our eyes out. We'll keep our eyes out for these players and what direction they want to take us in. Oh my god. That was very close. Jesus, as Trifax barely comes out on top, takes down the probe. And that's a pretty big win, actually. Remember in the last game how Trifax, his 3rd base was delayed because that probe threw down a pylon and it bought enough time for an adept to arrive? Well, that no longer is possible. Now Trifax, he can quite easily expand and take a 3rd base, and he can even cut out some of these lings. Instead of making 4 lings, he only makes 2, because you don't really need that many here because there's no probe to deal with. So pretty big win actually for Trifax. On top of that, HolyHit is a little bit more in the dark, and oh my god. Speaking of, as we are in the dark, HolyHit is going for a Robo opener. Let us go. I need to respond to something. But yeah, we have a Robo opener. This can lead into something like Disruptor drops. This could lead into fast Colossus. This could even be the beginning of an Immortal all-in. There's a lot of possibilities here for HolyHit, as the first adept does get across the map and does shade into the main. And the Queen is here. Lings, they arrive just in time. The adept not just here for some damage, but also looking for some scouting information, trying to get a read on what's going on. No additional gases, no fast lair, no fast roach warren. The adept does escape, and now my eyes are on HolyHit, and there it is. It is a Disruptor drop. So this is a little bit out of the norm. When it comes to standard openers in PvZ, it's either a Stargate or a Twilight Council. Robo into Disruptor drops is a thing. It is really risky though, just because you rely a lot on these Disruptors to get damage done, to really pay for themselves, to give you the breathing room you need to actually expand. The downside of this is that your army is going to be lacking here. This will delay things like Blink Stalkers or Charge Lots or any other form of tech. You do leave yourself quite vulnerable, and yeah, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, so it's a very high risk, high reward. Now I'm assuming this is going to be Disruptors. It could also be Colossi. If this was on the NA server, if we were casting Estrella or if we were casting Nina, I'd be like, yo, Colossus drop, let's go. But here it's going to be Disruptors, something a little bit more sensible, I should say. Now the Prism is moving out as we speak. We do have a bit of a faster Roach Warren here from Trifax, a 4-minute Roach Warren, which makes plenty of sense. Trifax, he is fully aware that it is not a Stargate opener. He doesn't know what, but he's getting ready for Adepts. He's getting ready for Glaive Adepts, and HolyHit is faking out Glaive Adepts by getting across the map, and we'll see if he can get any damage done. He does trade against these Lings, but can he get any economic damage as he doesn't come into the shade? Gets the hell out of there. I believe the first Disruptor is done, second Disruptor is on the way, and there's our transition. It's going to be a Twilight Council into a Forge. Should be +1 and Blink, but yeah, Blink. I was going to say Charge is also possible, but Charge Lots in conjunction with Disruptors are really awkward to control, so it should be Blink. As behind this, Trifax going for his lair. Again, around a 5-minute lair timing. Everything's looking as it should. Now that we have the first 2 Disruptors moving out, we have Colossus on the way to make sure that we can actually hold on to the 3rd base. Speaking of, the Lings have arrived, and it's going to be difficult to actually expand for HolyHit. The Lings are here, and they're going to be able to take down the Stalker. Meanwhile, across the map, here comes that drop. We do scout ahead of time. We do react. No! Oh! But 11 drones go down. Massive connections in the main. Again, we just weren't able to react in time, and we weren't able to avoid those Novas, and that is already worth it here for HolyHit. Already a good start for our Protoss player. The Prism itself has taken a lot of damage, but it has killed 11 workers, and we're not done. We're looking for more. Meanwhile, at least HolyHit is contained to 2 bases. At least he can't expand until his Colossus moves out. So a couple of adepts are being caught out as well. So decent pickoffs here from Trifax. Decent. Third base is being taken here at the linear base. Meanwhile, the Novas are back. Oh, he wants even more drones. He wants them, Bobby. He wants them. Oh, God, he's going for them as well. And he won't get the workers. He takes down a Disruptor. Good trade here for Trifax, and he needed this desperately. He kills the Disruptor, the other escapes. Whew. Things are looking less bleak for our Zerg. Thankfully. I want an ace match, Poppy. I want us to go all the way. As a Disruptor, it does return once again. Another big Nova. 6 more workers go down. We recall, and the Disruptor will survive. Barely makes it home. The Prism as well, zooming back home as HolyHit is establishing himself on 3 bases. Now, remember, this 3rd base is very late. It's a late 3rd. As he takes the 3rd, Trifax is working on a 4th. And now he can focus on droning, on resaturating his bases. Looking at the units lost tab, he lost 18 drones in total and 26 slings. Again, those 18 workers for 1 Disruptor. I would say that HolyHit did trade better in the end. Disruptors are expensive and he's going to have to rebuild them, but regardless, like, he had a strong start here. He is getting his 3rd up and running, and now he's moving out with his main army. As he moves out, the Lings are moving in. And we are looking to get on top of some of these gas guys to disrupt the economy here of HolyHit. But he doesn't care. He's focusing on his push. He's moving on in. Hatchery taking a lot of hits. Trifax getting ready for potentially a surround. The hatchery will survive. And so Trifax doesn't want to go in prematurely. He doesn't want to throw away his army. Especially if he doesn't need to. Behind this, Trifax is going to be cutting workers at 68. Just 1 under the ideal amount. The nice amount, if you will. There we go. Additional workers are on the way. But basically, Trifax is going for 3-base saturation, and now he's looking to max out on Ling, Roach, Ravager. His army is becoming more robust over time. Oh, but can he keep up with HolyHit? Ravagers are cancelled. Now, HolyHit's army as well is a little bit lacking. He's got some solid units as a core, as a backbone to the army with the Colossus and Disruptors, but he doesn't have too much to support them. He doesn't have too many Stalkers. Oh, as the Roaches are caught out! Oh, big connection. A lot of Roaches do fall. Ay, ay, ay. But at least Trifax establishes the 4th, and now he's working on the 5th base. He may be bleeding out Roaches, but he's got a decent economy. Decent. As HolyHit's going to be having some fun going for a Colossus drop into the main. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, and you know what? HolyHit, he heard me. The Colossus drop into the main gets 2 workers. Shouldn't get too much else. As Trifax is in position. 2nd Robo's on the way for double Disruptor production. 4th base being thrown down as well. Bold move here from HolyHit. A very exposed 4th. But an unscouted 4th base. That is what's important. Behind this, Trifax is about to max out. But HolyHit, again, he's got a decent army. The hope here for Trifax is to try to catch HolyHit as he moves out. Or at least try to punish some of these bases. As earlier I was talking about how HolyHit didn't really have too much to support his Colossus and Disruptors, but now that it's changed. Now we have many more Stalkers here. Up! Once again, catching Trifax off guard. Big connection. Ay, ay, ay. That is 8 Roaches for that 1 Nova. But Trifax has maxed out, and this army, it can collapse on HolyHit. He can try to set up a surround. Here we go. The Bilesay will connect. He's going straight for the Prism. The Prism barely does survive. The Baileys, they do connect as well. Decent Novas. But the Disruptors, they will go down. Yeah, the Disruptor count completely resets, and HolyHit, he fumbles the attack. He's going to lose everything. A beautiful engage from Trifax. HolyHit was just not ready for it. Somehow the War Prism was the thing that survived, but everything else fell. Zealot Rumbai gets cleaned up, and HolyHit, he barely has an army left. He's down to 3 Colossi, 0 Disruptors. because of the angle of attack, every single disruptor was exposed. Every single disruptor went down. And suddenly, Trifax has momentum. Suddenly, he is in the driver's seat, and we can keep on going. We can keep on pushing. There we go. He's looking to collapse onto that third base. But the Nova! Massive connection on the Ravagers. Big connection, but regardless, we're getting on top of the Colossus one after another. Good juggling here from HolyHit. He will save 2 of those Colossi, but the Banelings, they get into the mineral line. HolyHit will hold. Oh my god. The juggling, Poppy. The control. Very impressive. I thought then and there Trifax could break this base, and he almost did. But really good control. This one Warp Prism with 2 HP is saving HolyHit, is keeping him in this game. Able to preserve his Colossi. Able to reinforce. This is a bit ambitious. I'm not too fond of this, as HolyHit does a push onto creep. Big connection, but he's gonna get completely surrounded. Yeah, the surround is real, and HolyHit just doesn't have enough to support his Colossi. Moving out here was just not the call to make. And as amazing as the juggling has been, there's only it can only take you so far. As eventually one of them will go down. Oof. Event. Oh my god, there we go. As we're down to 1 Colossi. Now HolyHit does have a 4th base, and his economy is looking decent, so he's still in this, don't get me wrong. But his army was reset. Another disruptor gets rallied to its death. This is a consistent problem with Holy. Oh my god. We saw a lot of that in the previous game. And hopefully we can calm down a little bit. Rally back home. But Trifax is now about to max out. He's on 80 plus workers. He's on 5-6 bases now. He now has eyes on the 4th, and he's going right for it. The overcharge is going to buy some time. Two more disruptors have arrived. Okay, if HolyHit can somehow get the most perfect Novas, can he somehow defend? Can he hold? Even with 2 good Novas, I don't think it's going to be enough. As here we go, Trifax is looking to collapse on this army. The Novas, they go off, and they're not going to be good enough. Too many Banelings are going to be rolling on in, and GG gets called. And Trifax will take game number 2. Ooh, GG. See, some pretty holy debate. There was some nasty purification Novas. It was crazy, Poppy. It was crazy. Regardless, we are getting into this. And we have an ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. And that is what we wanted. As fans of the game, as fans of the players, we want to see the ace match. And that was pretty back and forth. Once again, I feel like HolyHit had a strong start. Remember, with his Disruptor Drop Opener, he was able to cripple the economy of his opponents, was able to build up towards one big push as well. Yeah, Trifax was having a bit of a hard time, but he was able to take some amazing fights. It came down to one big moment where HolyHit pushed out, and his army was a little bit haphazard. You know, we saw he wasn't quite ready for an engagement. He was getting ready for it, but he wasn't quite prepared. And Trifax was able to catch him, exposed, unawares, with his pants down. Able to clean up the army and take game number 2. And now we have an ace match. Let's go. In the chat. Hold the facts. He held, Papi. Aye, aye, aye. And here we go. We're getting into game number 3 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our Polish Zerg player representing CSO Esports fighting back in that last game and forcing the ace match. It is Trifax. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Protoss player, the German Protoss. It is HolyHit. Oh my god. And I think what's important about that last game is that it did show us that HolyHit has quite a bit of variety to him. We saw a very standard opener and a very standard follow-up in game number 1, but in game number 2 we had a robo opener into a disruptor drop, which again is very out of the meta nowadays. We don't really get to see that too often, so it was a treat to bear witness. I don't expect to see that again in game number 3, not because it was bad. I would say it was good actually. It was a strong opener out of HolyHit. But typically when it comes to these niche builds and these niche openers, we want to reserve them for like once a series, maybe twice in a best of 5 or a best of 7. In a best of 3, we want to try to mix things up here, especially as a Protoss player. You have a lot of builds and a lot of openers available, and you want to keep the Zerg player guessing. You don't want them to hard counter you. So we'll see what kind of direction HolyHit goes in. As for now, hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of Trifax, likewise gate expand out of HolyHit. Everything is looking as it should for the time being. This time the probe of HolyHit will survive. I'm sure he's gonna babysit it a little bit harder and preserve it. Make sure he doesn't overextend like the previous game. Trifax, his drones are animals, but they're dangerous. God, HolyHit, he's so annoying. He wants that drone path. But eventually he will back off. And we get to talk a little bit about the map itself. You know, it's something that we bring up quite often when it comes to Oceanborn, when it comes to Golden Ore. The rush distance by ground is quite short, so we have seen quite a lot of all-ins. I don't know if Trifax is one to go all-in, to go for like a queen walk across the map, you know, waddle the queens, with roaches of course, maybe set up a creep highway. There's potential for that on Oceanborn, but I'm just not sure if Trifax is that kind of player. We have seen him go all in the past, but that's typically when he's up against, you know, a perceived to be stronger opponent. We saw a lot of that over the weekend, or a couple of days ago, when it came to the house event, which was Trifax versus a laser. A solid ZvZ, but we saw Trifax being very aggressive against a laser, because obviously a laser is the best Zerg player in Poland. Here in this matchup and in these qualifiers, I feel like Trifax is pretty competitive, and I don't think he's kind of forced to be too cheesy or too aggressive. I do think he can play straight up. He can be more of the reacting player, even. For now, the Adepts have arrived. They're going to be getting a creep tumor and threatening a shade into the main base as well, where there are two lings. One drone does go down. Oh! And he's going to get a second drone as well. 2 workers, some lings, and the Adepts, they should barely be able to shade out, as they both do escape. Back at home, Stargate opener. Going to be reverting back to something a little bit more standard. Oracle is coming out. Oh, we do have a fast. Never mind. We do have a Twilight Council and a Forge as well. I was like, yo, if we don't throw down a Forge, this could be Glaive Adepts. But alas, we have a Forge, so this should be, you know, blink and +1. Third base soon to be taken here from HolyHit. As HolyHit did end up delaying here, just in favor of that tech. There we go, third is taken. And HolyHit is just being safe and secure back at home. Very reminiscent of game number 1, where he actually didn't move out with his first Oracle. He waited until the second Oracle before he actually moved out on the map. So very safe play here out of HolyHit. And oh, you have my attention. This is not +1 in blink, this is +1 in charge. Okay. So HolyHit, he can actually be a little bit more aggressive with this. This should lead into Archon, Charged Archon. We should be seeing a Templar Archives momentarily as well. And we can hit a strong timing with the first wave of Archons, as by the time they arrive, we will have +1 and charge. Meanwhile, the Oracles, they get across the map. The Queens are in position. And Trifax does fend off those Oracles. Despite not having a Spore, the third base is safe. Likewise, we have 3 Queens here in the main as well. And Trifax hasn't sustained any damage yet. He does rush into... Oh my god, he does rush into a lair. I say rush into a lair. I think it was around a 420-ish lair timing. And yeah, but just coming into Roach play. Roach Warren was thrown down earlier. Part of me was like, yo, how many gases do we have? Are we going to go Hydras? Like that? No, we have a Roach Warren. It's all good. And roaches are already on the way, actually. Oh my. Got 8, 9 now safety roaches. I'm curious if Trifax is going to saturate this natural base, or if he's going to focus on his army and focus on a push. Overlord speed's about to kick in. Are we going to set up some dropper lords? How many queens do we have? 6 queens, not too bad. Overlord speed is now done, but it looks like we're just setting up a scout. No, there it is. The dropper lords are upon us. We are going all in. We're cutting workers at 53. We're not saturating this natural whatsoever. The overlords, they have been pulled back, and I believe HolyHit doesn't see the dropper lords. Not yet, but now he does. Oh, good tag. He sees the all-in coming. And now HolyHit has to get ready. Immortals are on the way. We have a cannon. We have 1 shield battery, but that is not going to be enough. As Trifax is droning? Okay. He throws down a spire. He's taking more gases. He is droning. Okay, so it looks like because he's been scouted, he is not going to commit. And he's hoping for an overreaction. HolyHit throwing down a field of stasis traps. Additional cannons are on the way. So Trifax is shifting gears, and I appreciate this. I appreciate this. Like, again, he's respecting HolyHit a lot. He's basically saying, you scouted me, you're probably going to hold. I probably cannot pull this off, so let's just shift gears and go into mutas. We'll see if this pays off. Meanwhile, the drop lords, they make their way into the main base. Again, forcing a warp in, but nothing too major. As Trifax is just taking another base and saturating his natural. We've gone up to 73 workers. So far a good transition. Now, it's a bit give and take. Obviously, Trifax, his saturation is later than he would have liked to have been, and he invested a lot into these roaches that aren't really paying off. But at the same time, you know, HolyHit did invest quite a lot in his own defense as well. Creep is being spread. Trifax looking to be annoying when it comes to his opponent taking a 4th base. +1 air attack on the way. Hello. Mutas are in production. Has the spire been scouted? It has not been seen. But this is a very interesting upgrade on the way for HolyHit. Getting ready for Skytoss potentially. HolyHit, he does move out for a moment. Dips his toes into that creep before backing off. Oh, looking to expand, but he will be delayed. There's that fleet beacon, and there are those stargates. We are transitioning into Skytoss, but the mutas have arrived, and there's very little to defend. We do have a couple of stalkers in the main base, but they are spotted by the changeling, and the mutas have been seen. We just dive on the stalkers. We warp in 6 stalkers at a time. More stalkers here at the 3rd base, and these mutas have not been worth it. Not yet. They get 3 workers. And the mutas, they do survive. They go straight for the prism. Oof. They get the prism, but not for free for a couple of mutas. 2 mutas did go down. As Trifax is maxing out here on a ground army. Lingbane Road Ravager once again. The mutas, they're merely just to distract. Just to pull HolyHit out of position. Those stasis traps are still up and running. Oh my god. But they're about to run out. The stasis traps are about to run out. Trifax, he can push in. And he needs to. He needs to realize what's going on. He still has... He actually did spot those stargates. He sees. He knows. And we gotta go. We cannot wait any longer. Carriers are on the horizon. There it is. First carrier is on the way. Trifax, he needs to commit. Good force fields where the vials do bring them down. And the Banelings, they will connect. The force fields again are looking very solid here from HolyHit, but it's not going to be enough. The Banelings, they crash on forward. It collapses on those stalkers. The Immortals go down as well. And we may have carriers on the way, but they're not here yet. They're not here to save the 3rd. And Trifax, he does break through, just barely. The mutas come in from behind. The Lings are flooding in. The Oracles are doing what they can, and they focus down the Ravagers, which is, I mean, good pickoffs. But everything else falls. And this base will not be able to be saturated. The fourth doesn't get up and running either. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Trifax will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. A solid series there out of Trifax. It got a little bit close though towards the end, towards those last couple of games. But what I will say is that HolyHit was a worthy opponent. This was a pretty close series, a pretty close back and forth. Even the games that were won by certain players, it wasn't easy. It was not an easy road. So GG, well played. Massive shout out to HolyHit. Again, good effort. Unfortunately, it's single elimination. Unfortunately, it is single elim, so alas, HolyHit will be bowing out from the event. But again, a big shout out nonetheless, and I hope to see more of HolyHit tomorrow in the second Open Qualifier for the European region. Meanwhile, we're going to be following Trifax into his next series. Let us go.